crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best? There is no second best.
This is Discover Crypto, and my name is DZ, and every day on the channel we bring you all the alpha, all the news related to digital assets. And Josh, I just totally botched that, but we're here, we're live. DeFi is pumping.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Trump change, and we're going to talk about, you're going gray, Josh.
I am going gray, guys. It's funny because you didn't see the context that led up to the launch of the show this morning, but we were actually just talking about P. Diddy. So if you want to know why DZ's brain's all scrambled, he's been making some specific grok images.
I was going to do the one, but TJ keeps bringing up, you forget to say your name. And so then I try to throw in, and my name is DZ. And then as soon as I did that, I just derailed.
It always happens. But yes, we are... We're back here, guys. I got some gray hairs on the side of my head. You can see them if I kind of just push up the hat. But
I wish I had hairs on top of my head.
DZ's like, man, I wish I had gray hair. It's no, it's so I might have to do it. Maybe I'll just join DZ. We'll shave our heads in the morning together before the show. I'll be kind of romantic there. But welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing well today? It's good to see everybody in the chat. We got Doobie Doo, we got Nirvana, Victor, we got the J Chains, Mike Oxlin. Welcome in, guys.
J Chains. Remember he had to escape LA.
Oh,
isn't that where he moved from, TJ? Didn't he move from LA?
LA's
I'm not kidding.
Crazy.
LA? No, I don't think
he
so.
lived in California for some reason.
No, he lived in Austin and Chicago. Like when I think of J Chains, I think of Chicago, and I know he lived in Texas for a while.
Yeah, it was Austin. I was thinking of Austin.
Is it worth it if none of these looters are getting in trouble? Is it worth it to buy a plane ticket? Go get some extra. Go get some new iPhones. Dude, $2,500 for a new iPhone.
Well, depending on what your target shopping list is going to cost you, you could just buy a plane ticket there, get everything for free, and then you end up saving money in the long run.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, Target's got all the glass cages. Well, I guess you just break through them. We'll see. But either way, we got some good trades going on today, guys. What an afternoon, or I should say night or morning. I don't even know. We were up at like 3 a.m. with a Discord 2 nights ago covering the LA riots. Last night, we caught some amazing trades. We had a $10,000 trade in the free Discover Crypto Discord. Everybody followed along with us from Ethereum from $2,470 all the way up to $2,700. Now we're in a short that we caught this morning. I thought we didn't catch it. But we did actually catch it just a little bit. So we just doubled down on the position, up 6% right now on that perfect entry point. Might look to close that here in the stream because it does look like we're finding a bit of a double bottom here. It might be getting that next push higher here on Bitcoin's price action. You can see right here. Actually, that was Ethereum I was looking at. So there is our entry points there. But yeah.
Man, speaking of Ethereum, let's look at the crypto prices here because Bitcoin's up a little bit. It's up 0.9%, but ETH is now up almost 8% in the last 24 hours here. While it's only up 10% on the last 30 days, but a lot of altcoins, what's surprising, they're just not matching the move. I'm making the prediction you might see these pumps in the next 12 to 24 hours. XRP is only up 1%. BNB is only up 0.8%. Solana, Cardano up 2.0 and 3.6% respectively here. But ETH really stealing all the hype here, except from Hype. Hype is up 8.3%. SWI looking flat comparatively. Chainlink is up 8%. And that's going to kind of tell the story here where it's DeFi. DeFi is ruling, and even some centralized aspects here. Uniswap crushing it with 25% pump. Aave pumping with 19% pump. Sky and Optimism also up. And TJ, what's unique about Aave and Sky?
Well, yeah, the last two founders we had on this channel. So Sky, previously Maker DAO, for those of you guys who don't know the rebrand. Crazy, yeah. But Aave as well, stunning. We just had him on. I don't know. I guess it was last week or a couple weeks ago. I mean, time flies.
I think that was about a year ago now in crypto years.
Yeah, last week is exactly.
Yeah.
No, but what's interesting, you mentioned it, DZ. It's ETH and DeFi were the big winners, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. As a big result of Paul Atkins of the SEC and. What we've been telling you guys has been coming for the last year or so. We've been heavy talking about stablecoins and DeFi, telling you that these rule changes and these regulation changes that are coming down the pike and coming out of Washington are going to have a huge impact on crypto's future, whether that's through banks custodying DeFi, changing to some of the accounting rules, changing to the way that they're being regulated. So not surprising to see it, but definitely nice to wake up and see 10 to 20% pumps across the board on almost all of our projects. Arrow, Morpho, DZ already mentioned, Chainlink, Aave, Curve is another one you guys have heard me talk about a lot, all with huge, massive pumps. So love to see it. Still have a ways to go. Drew popped my bubble a little bit today when I was pumped about seeing a 10% increase on Chainlink. He's like, I'm not getting excited until I see $30. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll take 15. And nice to see that these things can move and they can move fast. Ethereum looking like it's ready for a quick move to 3,000, which we've all been talking about, saying that this was going to be the month that we saw it. So it's nice to see it start to play out.
I do have a very important question for the Deezonator across the table here, because number 5 on that list is Fartcoin. Are you longing for?
You know, it's funny. I literally did it 5 seconds ago. Right now it's down about 9%. So I'm going to watch this one. We'll cut and dry, about 30, 40, 50% loss. We'll go ahead and cut and then maybe reopen. And you can see Fart is starting to shart here. So you got to be careful
got to cut that
with
cheese
the Fartcoin
man.
strategy. But yeah, you heard me. I did a little ADA and I did a little Fartcoin. ADA doing well, Fartcoin just very, very volatile. So you must have seen the mouse moving or something there. Literally, as TJ was talking,
you looked like you were holding in a fart, and I just knew it was. I knew it was meant to be over here. But
right.
No, it's cool.
That's really what it was.
It is interesting to watch DeFi starting to pump. And what was interesting on that was number 4 here, which was on Optimism. I actually want to pull up OP here right now. Which, by the way, chat W's in the chat for Paul Atkins. I mean, that is a true leader. For the SEC right there. He's been absolutely crushing it. But OP getting a big boost here. So here's the minute time frame. Looks absolutely beautiful. But I want to see what it looks like on the daily, because OP is one of those platforms that is still massively. Yeah, look at that. In terms of that valuation, I mean, OP might be one of the most underrated L2s out there right now. Do we think OP can make a comeback here with other products like Aptos and these other shiny objects that were flashing across us in 2023, 2024? Do we think they can come back?
You know what's funny? I don't even think Aptos is the main competitor for OP. I think ETH is the main competitor. As ETH gets cheaper, ETH gets more upgrades. ETH gets, the Petra and the sharding and proto dank sharding, which I still want to get on a t-shirt. As ETH keeps upgrading, there's less of a need for L2s, because gone are the days of the 150 gas fees just to swap something on Uniswap.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me too as well, because like Base is built on the OP Superstack. It's like there's some big platforms that utilize the OPC ecosystem. So does this mean it's VC? Maybe we'll do a deep dive into OP. Is OP a good buy? Are VCs dumping it? Is it too inflationary? Because this just tells me, like, when you have that much development starting to take place on a network, like, what's really suppressing the price action, especially when it's listed on all your major exchanges. So maybe good just to see what the schedule release was. Because I don't know. Again, I think OP is one of those platforms, a little bit of a sleeping giant here. I know it might have been Discord or Telegram, Crypto Crank. I have to shout him out. I mean, we were trading this like a MFer with Jupiter. It was just kind of like follow the trend. And you just back and forth on the trend here for OP. So maybe something to watch here. I don't necessarily like the weekly, but there could be some good entry points on the L2 Superstack there.
All right. And I did close that fart at like a whole penny ago, so I would have been liquidated if I held on to it. But this is why. Look at Bitcoin here on the 1 minute chart. Bitcoin's just dumping and dumping. We had a nice little pump this morning here. You can see, starting around 5 a.m., a nice little pump kind of started literally right at 7 a.m. But then Bitcoin just started to fall and lose all of its gains recently. And in a very short amount of time, about hour, 26 minutes, it's peeled back almost $1,500. If you go to the 1 hour here, maybe just a little bit of a healthy cool down, and could be even a potential bull flag pennant.
Yeah, I think what people should be looking for here is going to be, we're up now $1,300, which is absolutely beautiful on that. Again, guys, get in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? Go join the Discord. But is going to be the specific, let me scroll in, let me zoom in here, go to the hourly time frame. 108 is about 107,504. That was the resistance that we broke out of here. Now, the kind of support level we jumped off of was going to be that 105. But if we were to come back and retest this price range of 107, even 106 to 107 here, what I wanted to show was the liquidations. Like, if you go just look at your liquidation charts, you're looking at it was kind of like it just played out perfectly. You saw the liquidation get grabbed, the market makers ate it. James Wynn decided to go long, and they decided to dump the markets immediately after here. And you can see we're fine. This is really good to see on the daily. It's now like a 50-50 balance. So what I would like to see, maybe we come back down a little bit, maybe down to 107, maybe the high 106, but really around this breakout period, if we can just consolidate and find that support, it would just be a good kind of retest or breakout continuation. And honestly, if the volume keeps up and we have a good CPI report, we get good announcements coming out of this big speech from Donald Trump today with the China-US trade deals. There's a lot of momentum that could push this back to all-time highs here. What does that mean for altcoins? Well, I do like ETH's chart a little bit better, but it's not quite perfect. Ethereum's chart here, which we've been covering in this Discord nonstop. We've been trading this trading range perfectly. This is why we caught the short today. We caught the entire long on this move. We've caught about 8 out of the 10 moves on this ETH trading range here between 2680 and 2470. What I would like to see is Ethereum finally hold above this 2680, which we can see on the daily. If the daily closes above this, this would very much excite me. I would maybe I'd be very excited if we close above $2,700 on the daily for Ethereum. So I'll be watching this very, very closely today. If not, again, Discord already prepared for the entire move, up already $1,300 on this trade alone for the short to the downside.
Nice, nice. Well, let's get into the SEC DeFi news here and kind of telling the story why all these DeFi coins are pumping. SEC chair says working on innovation exemption. This is going to be the important phrase for DeFi platforms. And we got some breakdowns of what he means in this in normal terms. So in the final of 5 crypto roundtables at the SEC yesterday, agency leaders and a panel of experts looked into DeFi oversight. Now, Paul Atkins suggested the regulator is working on guidance or formal rule exemption to aid DeFi. So this is where you're going to see all the pumps coming from. So he told the roundtable of experts on Monday he's directed the SEC staff to look into changes to agency rules to provide needed accommodation for issuers and intermediaries to seek to administer on-chain financial systems. Now, that's a very technical sounding sentence. TJ, what do you think this means in just layman terms?
Say it again for me.
To provide needed accommodation for issuers and intermediaries to seek to administer on-chain financial systems.
Basically meaning they're not going to be super restrictive of all the people trying to grow and move this industry forward. So
yeah, and so now do I have to worry about Uniswap asking me to take a picture of my driver's license?
No, not necessarily. You don't have, there's not going to be over KYC ALM type stuff, not over reporting, not over legal compliance required. So that's not necessarily, a lot of this isn't as much going to impact the individual user as it is going to impact the companies that are creating and growing this stuff. So in the past, they've got such a regulatory framework around it where it could cost, $500,000, $1 million worth of legal fees just to get a certain license or just to be in compliance and just to be able to open up your product to certain types of investors. Now it's getting much easier, is how I would say it.
Yeah, and it's going to let entities under the SEC jurisdiction bring on-chain products and services to markets expeditiously. So they're going to be able to just knock this stuff out fast. Now, Eric Voorhees, the founder of Shapeshift, joked that when he first got his SEC subpoena 12 years ago, he didn't think he'd be invited to speak at the agency years later. I appreciate the change of tone and the change of stance for the commission. I think that's absolutely a positive for America. Now, this is just a quick breakdown by Eric Connor here. He's an OG crypto punk with the 3D glasses. Got to respect that here. Wait, what does that say? Ethereum and AI pursuing, helping build Phrasia AI. So it's an AI dev here. SEC chair Paul Atkins just laid out his crypto vision. Here's what matters. So he starts with the bang. DeFi embodies the American spirit, economic liberty, property rights, and open innovation. First time SEC chairs framed ETH's core values as aligned with U.S. ideals. He explicitly says mining, validating, and staking are not security transactions. He defends self-custody and open source devs. DeFi protocols didn't blow up. Centralized finance did. He calls out directly and said the 1930s playbook shouldn't strangle 21st century tech. Ethereum kept working. The system held. I think it's a good point. Uniswap didn't go down. FTX went down. Terra Luna went down. US Tether didn't go down. And so that kind of just sums it up right there. It was the centralized exchanges that was the black eye in crypto over the last bear market.
Tether's a scam, DZ. It's going to collapse the financial environment, and it's going to be worse than the Great Depression.
And says the people scanning their eyeballs at the WorldCoin.
I like lost brain cells just even trying to set that up. That just it hurt my brain even saying that. No, it was such a, let's pull that back up here and just kind of go through that side by
Yeah,
side
just a couple
here.
more. So pushing staff to draft rules so they can plug into DeFi rails, enable
Mhm.
on-chain issuance, settlement clearing. Also, the innovation exemption is
Well-
going to give the fast-track clarity for DeFi projects to launch and operate while the new rules are finalized. Bottom line, if it becomes policy, U.S. crypto capital of the world.
So scroll up a little bit. I think the most important he didn't dive into yesterday right there is go down, number 6. I think it's number 6 right there. Yeah, draft rules so firms can legally plug into DeFi rails.
AKA BlackRock can use Aave,
Yield, yeah.
essentially. Or
That
World
is
Liberty
where your altcoins pump to the mat. This is why we've been saying, like, you need to have a portfolio that's structured around this tokenization sector. Whether or not Bitcoin, I think, you know, maybe it was you, TJ, that posted something the other day on Discover, but it was kind of like this stair step where Bitcoin isn't going to have its traditional 50% pullback. It will have pullbacks here and there, of course. That's going to happen in any market trend, but it's going to be kind of slow stair steps up. And let's say Bitcoin dominance remains higher for longer, right? And continues to kind of just gain market share. Which sectors in the altcoin market are going to be accessible to institutions that are moving this market now? And in my opinion, that's tokenization, that's real world assets, that's stable coins. And that ruling right there, number 6, if we pull that back up here, you guys should screenshot this because that's this is from Paul Atkins. You have 3 things you should be looking at. Draft rules so firms can legally plug into DeFi rails. Massive. You're talking billions of dollars being poured into yield opportunities. Number 2, enable on-chain issuance, settlement, and clearing. This is stable coins, right? Cross-border remittance systems. Maybe XRP holders getting a little tingle on their balls. It could be taking place. It might be good for their price action. And number 3, build a path to compliant self-custodial market infrastructure, which is just absolutely beautiful. You have the right to your own custody. And I think that can be embedded into a lot of new institutional values.
Well, and this change right here is why I've been saying, if you guys have been hearing me for the last year saying DeFi is going to merge with finance, there is not going to be TradFi and DeFi. It's just going to be finance. Banks are all going to start participating in DeFi. This rule change right here is what allows that to happen. Now, for the first time ever, banks like Josh and DZ just mentioned, BlackRock, Fidelity, Schwab, all these ETFs, they're going to be participating in staking. Banks in general are going to be using Aave, using Morpho, using Arrow to generate yield, to earn on their stable coins. That's why they're also excited about stable coins. And then they're going to use your money to do it. So you're going to start to see savings account come out from these, whether it's an Allied Bank or a SoFi or maybe Robinhood Crypto, where you're getting 5% annual on your savings, which is unheard of in the banking industry right now. I mean, even 0.5% sounds crazy, but they're going to start offering products like that because they're going to be able to participate in DeFi and earn in other areas. And that's what you're going to see the DeFi sector absolutely explode over the next decade. And basically crypto in general, obviously Bitcoin, but as well as Ethereum and a lot of these DeFi, Chainlink, Morpho, Arrow, Uniswap, all of these things that allow DeFi to do what they do, Curve, they're all going to see insane growth over the next decade.
I like B&B's take here. I'm going to go ahead and parrot this one. So this is just quote tweeting the SEC. 6/9 will be remembered as DeFi Day.
I like you call him B&B instead of CC. It's
CZ B&B here. I was looking at the window and I just saw the B&B. Yeah, well, Mr. B&B here. He's cousin. All right, well, let's do this insane prediction by Ben Cowan. It's got the whole crypto world up in arms right now. People are mad in the comment section. We're not going to get into the comment sections because we do like Ben Cowan. I think he's getting a lot of unfounded hate here. But this is what he called out. Historically, the market cycle top is in when the 200-week simple moving average crosses the prior all-time high. Something to keep in mind. And I charted it myself, folks. You can see it right here. Essentially, right here when we're near the top for 2017, this is the middle of December 2017. Well, look at that. That actually coincided with the previous top there. If we look at the November top for 2021, also within a couple weeks there. And so if you're looking for the top 2025, 2026, a potential target could be when we end up passing the previous all-time high on the simple week moving average there. I did want to share his comments here. A bunch of people complaining like usual. Yeah, it's not a perfect indicator. Sometimes a few weeks early, sometimes a few weeks late, just like a period. All models are wrong. Some are useful. Go touch some grass. Not even the first time I posted this. Last time I did posted a few months ago, I did point out the nuances. Also, I was talking about your alts. I love this metric right here. I do remember him speaking about this in the past. I just want to show it again to the audience. Something to maybe pay attention to. Josh, would you take profits based on some of these larger indicators, or are you just like a forever hodl guy here?
As I'm shorting the market live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no, this is where there's two types of people that should be in this. There's the 99% that should simply just buy and hold that are new to crypto. You should not enter trading as soon as you get into crypto. Once you're in crypto unless you want to start learning pretty early, I guess it's fine. But once you really need to experience the crypto market before I recommend you ever jumping in, starting to trade. But like now it's at the point where, okay, if I see a 30% pump on Bitcoin, I'm going to open up a 5x short. I know we're going to need a 6 to 10% correction, right? It's like historically, you're going to hit that trade 80% of the time. And that to me is way more valuable because I can make more money with less capital. But if you're somebody with like $100,000, $200,000, you don't need to be chasing these, right? Just buy when there's the massive dips, buy when there's that 30, that 40% pullback, right? Just dollar cost average, lump sums on a large time frame. That is always going to be the best way to invest. So, dollar cost averaging always wins. It's funny when you see traders and you see the Peter Schiffs out there. Well, Peter Schiff is, he dollar cost averages the wrong things and usually underage things. But ultimately, when you're looking at like the longer time scale here, dollar cost averaging always wins. The best traders in the world are dead people because they're good at hodling. They can't sell. So it's when you put that into perspective, you can't really dispute, the historical metrics there. And I think looking at Ben Cowan's chart here, if you were to buy when you have those massive pullbacks there every single cycle and then just sit on it, you're going to come up on top. You don't need to do anything but that.
When does that look like it's supposed to top out? Can you tell from
So
there?
it is hard to tell. I saw that question. I was going to answer that. It looks like we're still a few months away, but things could change pretty rapidly. If I will say Bitcoin continues to pump pretty hard, we'll hit it sooner. If Bitcoin dumps, it could take until 2026.
Yeah, I mean,
So let's do some moon math. So
predict.
what's the extension on the cycle? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just kind of. He's trying to say like when the 200 simple moving average meets the price, the previous all-time high, right? Which could be no, those are weekly, candles. So that could be what 3 or 4 months still.
Yeah. Moon and Papa, friend of the channel, how you read my mind thinking about the end of the bull market coming sooner than most believe.
Yeah.
So if we get a mega pump, that would happen there.
Yeah. I'm still leaning towards it's most likely going to be either right on time or later. I do, but it's an interesting thing to watch. I'm still so far, like he's just like kind of counts that all models are just guides. They all kind of break eventually. What does that say? I can't read.
I can't wait to sell the exact top this time. Don't forget your Bitcoin dominance videos. Forget them. Do weekly updates on this.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
The one I'm watching the most right now is the M2 chart. That seems to be the thing that's the most correlated. And you could, maybe back test that and see, alt seasons or just pumps in the past have seen very bullish things during the M2 money supply expanding. So as long as that chart's still going up and Bitcoin's tracking along with it, that's what I'm going to be watching the most.
So, if we were to just continue the trend line, we can give a slight approximation.
Yeah,
of course, this isn't anything, major here. Let's see here. I missed there we go. Now I'm just kind of going along with the same direction.
By the way, while he's doing this, guys, smash the like button. We have about 1,500.
December.
50, really? December
25.
There you go. We have about 1,500 people watching right now. Only 200 likes. It's a easy like day. We got alts moving. If you're not hitting like buttons when your altcoins that are down 70% pump 5%, then are you really even in crypto?
Are you really even in crypto? Now, speaking of being really in crypto, Josh, did you see the Andrew Tate saga yesterday?
Listen,
it's all started with this
shout out
tweet
to
right
his
here.
Hyper partnership because he's making bank off those referrals, brother. He's making bank off those referrals.
He's losing bank as well. So here you go, credible. So this is Andrew Tate's post here. He started posting out hype liquid links. Basically, you trade under his referral code. If you lose money, he makes a little bit more money. You trade with it, he makes a little bit more money here, or makes some money. So he did an ETH long up 138%. But if you look, he actually deleted that post. You can see it right there. No longer exists. Why? Well, Trader Main saying here, does bro not understand? He can't LARP on the blockchain, and it's a little bit hard to see, but that says realized profit negative $597,000. So he's lost $600K.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, that's 1% of his portfolio, so he's chilling.
Did you see the response? He got Wassiversed.
No, I didn't see the response.
So this guy right here, Smolting Wassiverse, he basically
Inverse
just has
Bro, yeah.
owns on X here or Twitter. And so Tate does bro not understand he can't LARP on the blockchain? Bro thinks he can escape the matrix when he can't even escape the blockchain.
Can't break out of the chains. Yeah, you know, it's I mean, you guys gotta be careful with a lot of these people. I mean, Andrew Tate's not a trader. That's not, I don't think I've ever seen.
I think the real world teaches you how to trade, though.
But Andrew Tate University.
Helen, he's charging people
if you pay
$100 a month.
$5,000, you can get coached on how to trade. No, I mean, it's just, you know, they're just having fun. I think it's more gambling at that point. I'd rather just use a stake partnership there. But no, when you see those people long in the top, that's when you go short. Look at James Wynn. Look at, you know, again, it just is a clear. Now, I do have to give him credit. At least he's using only 25x. I think James Wynn was using like 80x, 40x, yeah, which is insane. You're talking a 1% move, you're liquidated. Like,
yeah, and I joke about the 50x on Fartcoin. These are literally like joke trades with a $50 bill that we close pretty quickly. You know, sometimes we write them up with like 250%
That's not
pumps.
$50 million.
It's not a percentage of my net worth. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, just maybe some extra pocket change you might have found there. So, all right, let's talk about Bitcoin here again. Bitcoin Coinbase Premium hits a 4-month high, but I got a warning for you, Disco fam, a severe, stark warning. As 550,000 Bitcoin leaves exchanges. And so if you don't know what the Coinbase metric is, it's when it's higher on Coinbase versus Binance. And it reached its highest level since February as U.S. demand accelerates. Signs of overheating, though, remains absent, predicting positive trends through the rest of the year. And exchange reserves continue to decline, with spot exchanges down over 500,000 in under a year. So we talked about what it means. On June 6th, it hit 109,550, marking the largest gap between the two markets since February 3rd. Well, I got a warning for you here, folks. February 3rd, if we look at Bitcoin's price one more time, I think it's right here. Go to the daily. What happened February 3rd?
Popped out, didn't it?
It certainly did, TJ, and it actually started to fall off a cliff. That's that giant red candle. That's February 3rd. That's February 3rd. So last time it led to some severe market corrections here. So I just want to put that on your radar there. But there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope here. Now, continuing, we do have the exchange reserves dropping. And as Bitcoin marches towards 110, what are investors doing? They're pulling their Bitcoin off exchanges, slowly but surely, with steady determination. But let me give you the little bit of hopium here. This is on the post. Yeah, I think I had it right here. So the spike that we're seeing February 3rd was actually an aberration. You can see it right there. So this is why we haven't seen exchange flows since, or the Coinbase Premium since February 3rd. Actually, it kind of peaked here, and then it continued to pump and actually gave us a little bit of time. We actually have pretty clear buy signals, and I wouldn't say this is a sell signal just yet. If you look, when it's at its worst in the red zone, it's actually a great time to accumulate. Red zone right here, right before a run-up. Red zone right here, it's like the little mid rally here that you then had another exit. And then the red zone right here, followed by more accumulation. So maybe something to watch on the inverse here. When it's deep red, typically that means buy a lot of Bitcoin, because Wall Street's about to grow their appetite essentially there. And thank you, Crypto Crank. $2 smash the likes for us there. Everybody really helps us out. All right, now we do have some head and shoulder chart. Let me give you two head and shoulders for Bitcoin here. There's the larger one. And I want to give a price prediction. I haven't actually done this yet. He's saying the target breakout is 150K on this head and shoulders. So let's go ahead and do this. I think we have the head and shoulders right here. So if you don't know how this measures, essentially the neckline to the top of the head. And if you get a breakout, sometimes it coincides, same amount of length there. So let's go ahead. Let's do a little price prediction here. That gives us... ooh, even higher, $167,000 Bitcoin. But we got another one, Josh. We got another one. Caleb Franzen spotted on the 4-hour candles a mini head and shoulders, and he is very bullish on this one. He thinks Bitcoin breaks to new all-time highs. And I'm not going to dismiss the fact that the green zone is valid potential resistance, but maybe, just maybe, all we do is come back into 107 and then rip face to $120,000. So I drew that out as well. Here's the little, I mean, it's a pretty clear head and shoulders. So that might mean
I've heard that one a lot.
We're going to have a little bit of a dump here, folks. So he's saying 120. Let's go ahead and measure that. We don't know for sure. We'll go down to the bottom of the wick there.
I've heard like you're saying 107 and he's saying up to
Ooh,
120.
look at that.
Yeah,
119,
that's pretty
880.
much my target there. We're looking at, and that, by the way, the 107, which he's claimed for the head and shoulders, would be a retest of the breakout level we just broke out of too.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah,
we're
right
covering
around
a little
here.
bit early in
Yep.
live. So that's interesting. I do like that. It'd be 106. That's exactly what we're watching for. It'd be 106.8 to 107 here. You get a nice rounded bottom.
Hold on.
Um,
Over here.
and then ultimately you catch that next leg up, which that's where I want to be careful with people. I think like when you break past 112 and we're pushing 120, that's going to bring FOMO. Like, get ready for that, guys. Like, it's right around the corner,
And that's
it's very
when the-
possibly right around the corner. People
Yeah,
will be
that's
maxed
when
out
the
those credit
media
cards like
cycle hits. Once we get back above, like you said, 112, we'll move to 115 real quick. There's a lot of people talking about 115, 120. And that's when it'll get media attention again. It'll be back at all-time highs. It starts running up to 150. And that's when you can get these crazy moves very quickly. Somebody was asking, by the way, in our Discord this morning, one of the members was asking about, what's the right price to sell? And I just wanted to kind of reiterate this. What I was telling that person was, for me, a lot of times when it comes to selling altcoins, it's a combination of price and timing. So we can move up and change levels of both Bitcoin and altcoins very, very quickly. Ethereum can move to 3,000 quick. It can move to 4,000 real quick after that. But to me, it's a lot of what DZ was showing there, where you're looking at the timing of the cycles, where you're looking at M2, you're kind of looking at macro indicators. The 4-year cycle is the one I've used the longest traditionally.
Oftentimes, days after halving is another one.
That's exactly where I was heading. With the 4-year cycles, it really is days after halving. It really is saying, it should be whatever it is, 1,300 and some change days, which would, whatever the days are, I can't remember the exact number, but it puts us in around October, November of this year. Should be conceivably the top for Bitcoin, which puts altcoins maybe 30 days after that. So
then is it like a 2-year bear market after that?
Usually it's a 1-year fall and then a 1-year chop.
Yep.
So you got 1 years of dropping and then 1 year of like sideways at the bottom or near bottom.
Crab, as they call
and
it.
then you grind up and then have the blow off top again. But so they were asking about Arrow, and for me it's like, well, I would be selling Arrow if Arrow gets to $5. I'm definitely looking to take profit on it. It's at like 40 or 50 cents right now if it 10x's. But if it does that by July, I'm going to be holding out for probably some higher prices. If it's October, November, I'm probably selling 100% of it back to Bitcoin. So using time from halving as well as price is one of the most important things for
Larry
me.
got a question here. How much is the fall normally? It was like 85%, then it was 80%, then it was like 77%.
Let me re-ask that so we
could
can like just even clip it properly, and I'll just get both your thoughts on this. But how far is Bitcoin going to crash in the next bear market?
That is a great question, and Bitcoin kind of has a pattern that we can determine, and it is a pattern that is a shrinking decline every single time. It started with about an 85% decline and then fell to about an 80% decline, and I want to say the most recent decline was about 77% decline. And so maybe, as it matures, maybe it's only like 65, 70% decline.
So you're still
Some
saying
50.
Bitcoin could go back to $50,000 in the next bear market?
That is kind of my prediction. Bitcoin goes to 50.
Well, that depends on how high it goes, right? If it goes to 200 and it has a 50% decline, that's 100K Bitcoin. If it goes to 150 or 180, so a lot of that depends. So I really do think we're going to see the end of diminished returns, which that's what we've seen last time. The all-time highs have been less. I think we're going to see the end of that and then continue to see diminished drawdown. So I think, say we get to a 180 and then we see a 50% drawdown, or, most likely we draw down back close to 70K Bitcoin. But I think it's going to be tough to get much below 100K. But 50K, I think, is unlikely, because usually it's around previous cycle all-time high.
Well, chat, let us know what your Bitcoin bear market price predictions are, and hopefully we never see them. May the odds be ever forever in your favor.
And here I just quickly track it real quick. So there's your about 85%. That was going to be the first cycle, about 2014. Then we had the 2017 cycle. That one, it then fell closer to about 80%. And then if you look right here, now we're on weekly. It's going to be hard to get it like exactly, but then it fell about 70, 75, 77%. So it just shrinks and shrinks, and I expect it to continue shrinking. People saying I don't think we got lower than 80. No one thought we go lower than 20 last cycle when we went to 16 during the bear market. But during the bear market, you need to have a plan. And I have the plan right here. The plan is to eat ramen, save all your money. And I want this to be you, everybody. It's my underwear watching me buy more Bitcoin. All right. You got to make sacrifices, chat. You got to make the sacrifices. All right. Now let's get a little more serious here by talking about IBIT. BlackRock's IBIT becomes the fastest ETF to hit 70 billion as the flows turn positive, is now the fastest ever to hit that. It did it in only 341 days. Before this is all from Eric Balchunas. Before Eric added that this is 5 times faster than the previous record held by Gold Shares ETFs, which hit that after almost 1,700 days. According to BlackRock's website, the fund's asset under management is 71 billion, as 661,000 Bitcoin. So that's the stats there. Now, he did have some other stuff to say. Now, institutional investors are leading the rally through funds like IBIT, as retail is largely absent. Moreover, IBIT has seen only three outflow days since early April as they continue to accumulate. And here's his quote: when BlackRock filed for IBIT, the price of Bitcoin was around 30K, and the stink of FTX was still in the air, remarked Balchunas. Now, Josh, when you think of the stench of FTX, what do you picture?
Oldie Q-tips.
Is it this?
That was pretty close. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty close.
The stench of FTX lingers.
Hell, dude, get that
like
off.
an SPF.
God, what the fuck?
Sorry.
Grok, chill, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Smash the like if you want me to keep.
I want to know what
making those.
Grok searched up to cross-reference that picture.
You want?
That
You
was,
probably don't even want to see
What was
my
your
prompt. Okay,
Uh,
a picture of Sam Bankman-Fried with P. Diddy in a jail cell, and they're disgusting and filthy. Prison cells overflowing
that would
toilets
be-
and flies
yeah.
and grime on the walls.
I like
Nailed
the second one's a little bit better. Like,
Just not. It doesn't. I don't picture the stench of FTX. I'm talking about the polycule beanbag after a late night session.
I've never seen P. Diddy shocked like that.
I mean, imagine an FTX engineer just farting continuously in a beanbag chair. It's gonna stink, everybody. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Dad,
All right, let's get back to
dad.
What?
Get them a
Whoa.
squatty potty, man. God damn.
But no,
Get
the
him a
IBIT
bidet.
news is pretty serious
Well-
news. I mean, when you look at the chart, it's like absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah, well, and the other thing I was going to come back to, I mean, you said the price was 30K when IBIT registered for their ETF.
Yep.
It's like how much more of
We
a
called that
signal?
exactly,
Yeah, I mean,
too.
you got the clear as day signal, the largest asset manager, the person who's driving most of the capital in the world is getting ready to set up a vehicle for onboarding their clients into Bitcoin. The price is 30K. Are we not shocked that we're at 110K right now? Like, I guess you had time to load up. I mean, that was a near bottom price. I mean, and that's what I tell you guys all the time. It's not about nailing the top or nailing the bottom. It's about being near the top or near the bottom. Yeah, sure, it went down to 16, 17K, you know, roughly 20K. They're registering for their ETF at 30K, and then they ride it all the way up to 110. You think they're not going to continue riding that up? I mean, I don't know. It's just looking at that chart right there. And you don't think Bitcoin is a different type of asset than all those other ones in the past? And those other ones are things like gold that went on 10-year bull runs afterwards. So Bitcoin is performing like one of the best assets or commodities ever in existence of all markets. And if you're not bullish on that, I don't really know what to say. I'm sorry. Like the numbers are about as clear as they get.
Wait, record-breaking accumulation by BlackRock is bullish?
Yeah, I mean the best performing asset in your lifetime, where the smartest capital allocators in the world are going all in, have FOMO, telling everybody that this is the next greatest thing. But your uncle's over there saying, nah, I think it's a scam. Maybe, you know, what if the CIA invented it? What if all the power goes out tomorrow?
What if Satoshi pops up at the 21 millionth Bitcoin
What if
being
quantum
mined and he
computing
like laughs?
hacks it? Like, they have every excuse in the world, but it's just their own confirmation. But I mean, if quantum computing hacks it, then all your stocks are gone, all your securities are gone, everything in your bank account's gone. You know, so it's just, I don't know. I just get frustrated with people that want to fade a chart that looks like that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Doesn't make much sense. Now, there is some serious news with Bitcoin's op return data limit here. This is Bitcoin Core is looking to do something here, and it's set for release in October. It's basically an upgrade to the Bitcoin software here. It's going to increase the op return data transaction limit to 80 bytes from 80 bytes to nearly 4 megabytes. I asked Grok, all right, so 4 megabytes is 50,000 times larger than 80 bytes. So critics are saying removing this limit is going to lead to network spam, while developers emphasize the importance of maintaining the principles of decentralization and censorship resistance. So listen to the centralized entity called Bitcoin Core, they say. Now, the code allows Bitcoin users to include data in the transactions. It's conceptually similar, but technically distinct from inscriptions in the way that works, where they embed images and text directly into the blockchain using ordinals and witness data. And so something to pay attention to. This is going to happen in October. Now, the debate mirrors the controversies of 2023, notably around ordinals and inscriptions, when users embedded substantial non-financial data into Bitcoin transactions, prompting similar concerns about blockchain misuse and network congestion. Let me just say, miners love this. Marathon loves this. As a Bitcoin fan, not the biggest fan, I guess. I can see it leading to congestion and just making the network not as usable.
Well, yeah, I mean, what the main complaint is, it makes it not as accessible for the everyday person to be validating everything, because there's going to be cost associated with it. So, and there's not a super high incentive. So if there's not a huge incentive and you have to pay to do it, it means less people are going to do it. So less decentralization. That's kind of the core, trade-off you're getting there. Now, like you said, DZ, miners are getting higher transaction fees, so of course they're gonna vote for this. But to me, I think this is kind of natural. You're gonna see not everybody is gonna be able to run a node forever. I do think it's important that we keep that in mind and that we do have a certain number of people doing it. But at the end of the day, kind of is what it is on this. I think you can make there's strong arguments in both directions, and I'm not gonna sway them, so I'm just gonna stay in my lane on this one.
I always think it's funny that the Bitcoin core team just says, "Hey guys, it's just decentralization." But like, you're a centralized entity, calling for it. But it's a little bit of nuance there in the irony. All right, let's see here. Does anyone listen to Crypto
Bitcoin
Capital
Core?
Ventures?
I think is pro return. They're the ones that want the higher. They were okay with the spam. So,
yeah.
So that they're not making that argument necessarily. So.
True. Big fans of Dan Gambardello. He taught me how to say his last name. I don't know anything about exit strategies. Just, there's a multitude of exit strategies, Pi cycle top. We just saw Ben Cowan's chart, 4-year cycle, days after halving. You can look at M2 money supply. I think you need to take a confluence of all of that, including Crypto Capital Ventures platform, and then just maybe make your own decision there, depending on your risk tolerance there. Stop the steal and smash the likes for our boys. Appreciate it. Smash the likes, everybody. Now let's talk about ETH. I know ETH is looking pretty good. It's one of the biggest pumpers today. Well, ETH staked ETH, hitting an all-time high as ETH gets close to 2,700. And so this is a new record as the assets price reclaimed a 12-day high amid major institutional accumulation. The amount of ETH staked on the Beacon chain reached 34 million ETH, eclipsing the previous high November 10th, 2024. So I pulled up ETH November 10th, 2024. Let's see. Right about as things started to pump. So this kind of led to a pump last time. Something to pay attention to. The higher staking level indicates more holders are not prepared to sell at the current levels, preferring yield from staking. The current amount is equivalent to 28.7% of the total circulating supply. It's about 120 million tokens floating around. And the milestone comes as the industry, this is the major news, anticipates the approval of spot ETH ETF staking by the SEC. Meanwhile, BlackRock, they've been aggressively accumulating the asset 23 consecutive trading days without an outflow. Remember, this is only 5 days a week, so we're going on over a month of just basically inflows. I did see a little potential head and shoulders chart formation form, and I haven't seen anybody else chart this. I just know that Ethereum past cycles would lag behind Bitcoin by about a month. If we were to measure this out, 10 days, this is about a month right there. So very, very, close potential target for a head and shoulders. So I just want to put that on your radar. That would put us to about 4,300, which coincidentally would be very close to the first peak that we got there for ETH in May of 2021. So just some price levels to keep an eye out on. I'm going to keep this head and shoulders up, and we'll just watch it together, Disco fan, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this play out.
So 4,300 roughly when?
If it plays out, if it fall, I just kind of did the month later type situation there. Looks like around the middle of July 15th, which is difficult to pump an asset in the middle of July. It's typically a lot of money on the side.
No, I actually like that. I think that could play out. And yeah, Crank, I've been meaning to give you a call. I just got distracted. We went to the conference and I actually was moving and doing a bunch of crazy stuff last week. So let's touch base. We do want to start doing some call-in style stuff, having members and people a part of the Discord. joining us on stream. So that might be fun for some afternoon stream. So yeah, let's follow up on that.
All right, let's follow up on ETH Bitcoin as well. It's just starting to look better and better, and some people are starting to point out a little bull flag pennant on the 1-day chart. We look at the weekly, looks like we bounce off that resistance pretty strongly, and this might be the moment where we just start making bull flags. And so here, I'll go ahead and put a
that
little,
looks good, man. That's a nice looking chart.
so boom. And it looks something like this, and boom. So that's kind of what we're hoping for here. So just go up, chop in a range, go up, chop in a range, go up, and this is what they call alt season.
Well, grab the flagpole. I mean, just give us the.
It's hard to tell with ETH as percentage of Bitcoin.
BTC?
Yeah, so we don't really have a price to share with the people.
Oh, that looks good though. That looks really good
That
for
gets
me.
us back up to like a third. 3.3333%, which is also that was a previous point of control. So yeah, right there too. Yeah, I'm liking this potential area. Kind of getting this range right here. So ETH looks like it wants to start bouncing against BTC for sure. Now, this is pretty big news. We're talking about the XRP stablecoin. Looks like it might have strong integration with Cardano. I would say, Lace Wallet is like the Cardano team's wallet. It is formerly known as Nami. I've done, actually tutorials on it before. It got bought by, one of the Cardano entities out there. I'm not sure if it was CF or IOG, one of those. And now they have added XRP is coming to the Cardano wallet. So keep an eye out on some of this cross-chain interoperability with Cardano. Looks like they're trying to do something with Bitcoin, doing some with XRP, doing some with some of the all the UTXO coins. And big shout out to Stuff.io. I'm still working on the book. I'm kind of at I was talking to TJ about this. I'm kind of like at a speed bump phase. I got to start working on covers. I got like bust out, Canva, like kind of like Photoshop. I want to do like 50 covers. So the book is essentially done. Now I'm like in the phase of creating text files and formatting, and I gotta dust off the old like English lit education that I got way back in the day there. But look who they just partnered with. I shat you not. William Shatner.
Oh wow.
Mini Cardano.
Coin's godfather. Little do they know. We have breaking news. We got breaking news. U.S.-China trade talks have officially concluded in London, building on Geneva truce amid a 34% drop in Chinese exports, according to New York Times. This was a rare de-escalation move, guys, by Scott Bessent and the Chinese. This is huge progress. And all we can do right now is expect remarks at Trump's speech later today. He said it's going to be a big speech, so we can hopefully see if he's going to speak in regards to those negotiations. But it looks like there's multiple reports from Bloomberg, from New York Times, that the negotiations have taken place. And so we will see some announcements probably coming out of this in the markets a little bit later today. That could be why we're getting that bounce here now in the markets. SPX, XPX isn't bouncing just yet. So it's all waiting on that news. Will it be bullish or bearish? I'll let chat decide that. But of course, it is over here for the negotiations. The Bitcoin Way $5 super chat. Josh, awesome job on the 10K trade yesterday. Appreciate you, brother. Any chance these trading sessions would be recorded for Discord premium members to watch at a later time? Yeah, I actually started recording them. My dumbass on the entire 10K stream, which was like 2 hours long, I did not unmute the mute button. So the recording has no audio, but we were live there for 2 hours, and I will start recording them. I'm starting to, and they'll be there for all Discord members to watch. But sometimes we're going live so often, I just forget. But yeah, most of them will be recorded. They will be posted in that Discord for you guys with the link to watch the private video.
And if you want to join in the Discord, guys, the link is in the chat and in the description. Lots of good stuff in there from all of the guys: Drew, DZ, Kelly, Josh, obviously, and I'm in there all the time too. I'm actually doing another portfolio review this afternoon. So
Hey, there you go. It's almost like Cardano has real world usable products. I've been shouting this from the rooftop to all 7 people who listen there. Now, major news for Chainlink holders. I think this is maybe one of the reasons we're seeing a very large link pump. I'm not going to read Sergey's entire thing. It gets a little. It's like a Sergey post, as more top institutions adopt the Chainlink standard for data, connectivity, and compliance. I expect. So we're not going to get into the whole thing, but 3 main things, and they did a little bit of a report here and buried. I think it's page 9. I'll show you a little graphic here. So Visa has a report, and in the report, they basically showcase how Chainlink is able to solve a lot of issues, provide data needed, connect multiple. Is going to be the main takeaways. He shared this. I want to say it was page 9. I believe, yeah, right here. And I should be able to zoom in. And it's just talking about the CCIP cross-chain interoperability payment system by Chainlink. It's one of their products out there. It's probably going to make a lot of revenue 5 years from now. Seems like right now what they're trying to do is give this product to a whole lot of people for free, and then they'll start charging you down the line, or close enough to free there. So just the fact that Visa is releasing some report, and it's what was the title here of it? Transforming global payments, the role of tokenized money and funds in cross-border transactions, and is showcasing Chainlink's capabilities. I don't know. I'm kind of bullish on Chainlink, Josh and TJ. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Yeah, Visa's like a special thank you to Chainlink for all their help with all this stuff and certain posts. So yeah, Chainlink, again, somewhat of a sleeping giant. And if you miss this train, you've had plenty of opportunity to accumulate. I highly expect, again, they're going to go live and start charging people for their product later this year, probably Q4. So that's where I'm looking for Chainlink to see its most explosive.
I think November, right?
November. Yeah. I'm just, giving a little room for error there. But yeah, it's scheduled for November. You never know if they move it a little bit. But that's when I'm fully expecting to see Chainlink make absolutely explosive moves. And seeing what's happened overnight, 20% pumps on some of these major coins, that can happen very quickly with a lot of these major alts. You can see 20 to 40% pumps multiple days in a row. And so seeing this, what we just saw this past couple days with one little change and then just signs of life and all sorts of altcoins is very encouraging. Still very heavy Bitcoin. As you guys know, I think about 70% of our holdings are Bitcoin first, but still very heavy in the altcoins and DeFi. Ethereum, Chainlink, Curve, Aave, Arrow, and many more. And again, the full breakdown.
We got a question from Victor Guerrero Galvin. What can we expect the price to be once they start charging? Once they start charging JP Morgan, Visa, MasterCard.
For Chainlink
alt season, I think $30 to $40 is just like a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say that sounds like FUD, and let me tell you why. I would tell you why I think it sounds like FUD. We were just $30, and a lot of people did not take profit. I'll say I was in this camp. This is just a 1 year chart on Chainlink. It hit $30 in December.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be we should be well over $30. I mean, I think 45 is 50-ish all-time high.
I think this trend line kind of continues.
What was the all-time high?
The market cap?
Hit above 50.
50 market cap?
55. Market cap is,
scroll back up.
10 bill.
Click the market cap.
He just wanted to see the token change.
Right.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Yeah. They don't really have bad dilution compared to most.
And the main difference is most of the tokens are out now. So I mean, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Some of the numbers that you hear out there are astronomical, $300, but I think $100 is pretty reasonable.
Maybe the first channel to say $10,000 Chainlink.
1 million, DZ.
No,
go big or go home.
Let's stick with $10,000 Ethereum, and I think even that seems crazy bullish to a lot of people. But I think ETH can still move really, really fast. And these other things that are much, even in the bottom half of the top 10 or the top half of the top 20, those market caps can move quickly still. I mean, we can, $100 Chainlink doesn't seem too crazy to me at all.
For me, it's just like, once we're at $30, $40, I have a lot of money in Chainlink. Like I'm seriously taking that profit. I'm rolling to Bitcoin. I'm looking how to get Bitcoin yield. I'm just de-risking. I'm going to be de-risking at all those levels. And when when we're at a $40 Chainlink, you're going to see that FOMO come back into these markets. And again, that FOMO, what's crazy is it can go to $80, and that could happen within 2 weeks. Like it can go from 40 to 80, and then it just you have that blow off top, right? There is a lot of ways this can roll out. But I will say, I think out of almost every single token, Chainlink's the one that I see being a competitor to Visa. It's the one that I look at, and it could hit a $400 or $500 billion market cap in the long term. Everybody uses CCIP. They went with give everybody the product free, like DZ just mentioned. It's genius. Get everybody addicted to product. Get JP Morgan to use the product.
The heroin dealer strategy.
Once you taste the fentanyl, you cannot stop crashing out. You know what I'm saying? It's and that's what we got here. It's these
Bitcoin's falling off a cliff on the 1 minute candles here, trying to erase basically every single gain that we got today. So keep an eye out.
Yourself.
I don't know why I'm on regular candles like a
We're
weirdo.
in that short, baby. We'll see if it keeps playing out here. But it goes back to that point. So I think Chainlink's a top contender. And I think I'm not going to sell the whole bag if we go up to $30, $40, but it's I would take out half my bag. I would be, and I'm reallocating that, de-risking that. Same thing with Ondo. You know, people think I'm bearish on an Ondo price prediction of like $4 to $7, and the $4 to $7 is like in the blow off top factor. But if my predictions are wrong, guys, like this is based off Bitcoin going to 130, 140K max. Like if this goes to 170 or 180K, like just the liquidity alone, I think would blow that out of the water. So it's really just being prepared for any scenario, and I want to make sure we all take profits this time.
How do we think Chainlink will reach $100, but XRP won't? Not you, Baldies. Oh, sorry, don't know your name. You're quite bullish. Oh, I read it. I literally thought he was talking to me.
Because Chainlink is way more valuable than XRP.
Well,
if that wasn't the case, here you go. If that wasn't the case, Ripple would not be trying to buy stable coins to stay alive. That would be my point.
Also, I don't think that person really understands market cap that much. I mean, basically, a $140 Chainlink is what, 90 billion, and XRP is already 133 billion.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to. I got it. That came off like I hate on XRP. Like
probably
again, XRP has a place, but the CCIP and the proof of reserves, all of the systems Chainlink has built are, in my opinion, just way more profound. Like the entire crypto space, guys. This doesn't happen on XRP. The entire crypto market is nearly reliant on Chainlink's oracles. So from an off-chain data perspective, to their cross-border remittance systems, to their CCIP, to all of their products, it's one of the strongest products in the industry.
All right, so here I pulled up the number of tokens. This is just how many XRP there will be eventually, and how many Chainlink there will be eventually. XRP, 100 billion tokens. There's going to be 100 billion tokens. Right now, 58 billion are circulating. Chainlink, there will only be 1 billion tokens, and only 650 million are circulating. So if they're both $1, XRP is going to be basically 100 times more valuable.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's the easiest way to say it is right here is the market cap. 100 billion market cap is 80 to 90 bucks for Chainlink. 100 XRP is 4 trillion, which is, you know, again, that's double. You'd have to get way more than what Bitcoin's valued at right now. What we're saying is Chainlink would be valued at a similar market cap.
So like MicroStrategy
XRP
would have to dump all their Bitcoin and start buying XRP, and every other company in the world would have to do it at the same time.
Yeah, so like this goes back to, it's like, I don't know. You can't make XRP Army happy. We could say it's going to $5 to $6. They're not happy.
Yeah. Well, it's changing finance as we know it. $5 is FUD would be the response.
It's been a flip of a switch for 6 years. If it's just a flip of a switch, why don't they flip the switch, DZ? We all be rich. Tell me.
They do flip the switch. It's called escrow wallet, and it says sell, and they flip it from. Anyways.
Now, anyways, it's again. I think there's a place for XRP, but RLUSD is not competing in a way that people wanted to make it out to be. I think they need, if XRP wants to go to $12 or $40, like to me, they have to build out the open source part of the XRPL and start incentivizing DeFi development. Until we get there, very centralized product. Very, very centralized product.
Yeah. Now, I do want to give a big shout out to Stani from Aave. We had him on about 3 weeks ago. We interviewed Stani. Maybe it was about 2 weeks. It was a pleasure to meet. He met Bo Hines at the White House yesterday.
Nice.
To talk about Aave and how to protect DeFi in the U.S. DeFi is always going to win, and they should tell their photographer, do not have the sun in the backdrop. You can tell by the shadows. They just look dark and scary. They look like Stephen Miller. I'm kidding. I love Stephen Miller.
They look like Anakin Skywalker walking into a temple full. That was
yeah. Look, the Padawan.
Episode 3.
They gotta go too. They gotta go too. You know, I hate sand. But anyways, top. We have some token unlocks I want to put on your radar. The following tokens with the largest unlock amount is going to be unlocked in the next 7 days. Aptos, 50 million. Stark, Mocha, Immutable X. God, they won't ever stop. Move. BB and Sweeland Send is also sending some. So I was wondering why Sweeland was so not pumping with Sweet, and it turns out, oh yeah, the team's dumping tokens the whole time. So you always gotta remember, check out token unlocks as well.
That'll do it. ETH would have been the better idea right now. That ETH stumping harder than Bitcoin.
That's surprising. Well, it is real surprising until you look at this, Josh. I found the alpha that explains everything. Update. This is from Marty Party. Proof of reserves for June. This is for Binance. They own 0 Solana and 0 Ethereum. Both are exactly 100% held by their customers. And it's looking at this. And so they have, customers have, let's just say 100 XRP on the platform. So they have 102.9 XRP. And you can see they have a 2% spread, extra Bitcoin, a little bit extra Tether, 0 extra ETH, 0 extra Solana. They do have a little extra
Wouldn't that be
XRP.
good for like supply shocks?
No, you want them to be holding a whole bunch, like in their
You
forever
want them more,
wallets.
so it's
Yeah,
gotcha.
you want them to like
That means
hodl
it's
it.
more. You don't. There's no way Binance manipulates the markets, though, right?
Someone said, no, they still have 3.1 Solana. Okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I love it. I like it. Like it.
God, the manipulation
Is
of these
that
markets
actually
is
real?
crazy, man.
It is. Yeah, they actually have 3 Solana. So okay, I spoke too soon. So let's look at ETH as well. We're looking here, 118. Okay, they have 8 ETH.
They got gas
They have
fees.
8.
Ah,
They're holding on to 8 ETH and 3 Solana.
that's FUD. That entire post is FUD. You should just correct it.
Totally
FUD.
fake. Totally
Quote
fake.
tweet and quote FUD.
Look how much extra Bitcoin they have. They have 593,000 Bitcoin for people. They have 606,000. So they have an extra 13,000 Bitcoin. Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
How much yield are they making off that?
They probably just have it in their little hot or
Cold
what does
wallet.
Binance have? They have like 20 some odd hot wallets, I think.
How much tether do they have?
Tether, it's actually USDC. They have a whole
Oh,
lot.
Tether's
They have
up top left.
50%. Look at
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah,
50%
you're right.
extra
That's
USDC.
8 billion. It looks like
They
8
have-
billion and 29 billion on USDT. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, a casual 3 billion in dry powder here in USDC.
Yeah, I think we should all launch a stable coin together. Look, let's put all the fights between cryptos aside, guys. Let's just do it together. Let's just launch a stable coin together. We'll split all the fees.
Someone's saying it won't take hundreds of billions to move XRP to over $500 or 500 something market cap. Now that's in a perfect world without selling pressure. Sometimes, the inverse is true. And so a small amount of buy pressure can move it a whole lot. A small amount of sell pressure can move it a whole lot. That knife cuts both ways. Josh, or go ahead.
No, I mean, yes, it will. It will take hundreds of billions of dollars to get to a 500. He just said a $500 XRP.
It wouldn't like
He
what
says
he's
market
saying. If there
cap.
was no selling pressure, he's right. Like if there was no selling pressure and there's a $2 billion buy click and no one sold, like it would the market cap
500 billion market cap.
I don't know what
It'll
it'd
go
go
up,
to,
but it's not going to go
but
up that much.
yeah, it's like that's
the market
people
cap's
are
at
going to sell.
134.
Yeah. People
Market
are
cap's 134
ripple
billion.
sells.
He's talking about a
Yeah.
3x.
Yeah.
It wouldn't actually take hundreds of billions to move it to a 3x, and you're totally right. But it also wouldn't take 100 billion to make it dump 70%.
What would that put the price at still? That'd be like what, $10?
No, it's about
No,
a 3x. I'm looking at the market
Is
cap
it
right here. It's
3x?
134 million. So
That'd be expensive.
500 billion is going to be like literally a 3x, a slight under like
Which,
2.98.
in an alt season, that's
That's about right.
possible.
But that's not $500. That's not $100.
Yeah, no, he was saying 500.
be
bill market
realistic,
cap.
guys.
Yeah. No. There are people who think it'll go to $500. I don't, he
Chat,
knows
what's your
it'll just
XRP
go
price
to 5.
predictions? Let's just ask chat. Like chat's we got Crypto Crank with $8 to $9. But chat, what's your XRP price prediction for this bull run? If you don't agree with us, I just want to know. I just curiously want to know.
I'll pull it up on the chart.
I have $5 to $8 seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, this ETH liquidation swing was interesting. Yeah.
Let's see here. 7.
It's hard to judge here. If we go to the regular, there is a little bit of I don't want to say insane trend line here. I thought I drew it out at some point. I must have deleted it. There is a world in where this plays out.
8, 9, 10. Someone goes $0, $5, $7, $10, $6.
So that peak, this peak, and this peak. What's interesting is it looks like this actually almost coincides with a little bit of
$15.
resistance there. So that doesn't give you too bullish of a target. That's still 420-ish, $5. It could go to 10. I'd be surprised.
Even it doesn't. I don't even say unless the XRP guys are just too scared to say it. But just everybody in our chat is really pretty much below $10.
They've been shamed into saying things that are like triple digits.
I don't even shame. They're just realistic, which is good to see. I love the Discover
All right,
fam.
all
being
right. There we go. Double digit, 1269.
Yeah,
Even
5
Crypto too with the $9.
5.89, I think, is what we've said in the past. So $5.89.
Here's Johnny. Yeah, Johnny's. I know Johnny's
Johnny.
XRP army $5 to $8. Yeah, see, these all like I think these are all possible. These are all feasible.
I would agree. Now I'm going to be dropping a video tonight, and there's a lot of nuance with the MicroStrategy stock, and people are wondering, should you buy MicroStrategy stock or should you just buy Bitcoin instead? And there's very smart people who disagree on this topic. And so I go into the charts, I track the pumps. When Bitcoin pumps, does MicroStrategy pump more? When Bitcoin dumps, does MicroStrategy pump more? The answer is yes to both of those, but you got to play the odds and see which one moves more. And I explained kind of a little bit of what their business model is. So tonight, big MicroStrategy breakdown. I need you to turn on notifications, watch that, because you're going to have, as retail starts to enter in crypto, you're going to have that uncle. Thanksgiving's not that far away. He's going to be asking you, oh, the Bitcoin, should I just buy MicroStrategy instead? Or, hey, I bought a little MicroStrategy. Watch this video so you're informed, and then you can educate your uncle as you're passing the gravy what the heck he should do with this 401k. That's what I got. Josh, anything you're working on today?
Honestly, just trades. I'm going to be in the Discord. We have a lot of good videos coming out. I got to film some intros for some interviews that I'm very excited to put out. I want to get out here very, very soon, hopefully this weekend. There's 2 big ones I want to get out. And then we'll just start rolling out all these interviews every single weekend for you guys. Hopefully 2 a weekend is my goal. But yeah, I mean, guys, just join the Discord. That's where you should be right now. Like, if you guys were in the Discord, you would have caught this trade with us. We're up still about $1,100, $1,200 right now. And we're going to just keep riding the short here and then look for the long position. So we've been taking a ton of money. We've been just crushing it in that Discord, guys. We've been making so much money. It's been an absolutely amazing 3 weeks. Last week was pretty rough. We actually were down last week. The week, I think Las Vegas, we were up 22 grand, lost 6 grand last week, up again this week about 13,000. So this is going to be probably one of the biggest months of 2025 for our trading journey here. So very exciting, guys. Go join the Discord. It's completely for free. And yeah, that's really, dude, I'm just staring at the charts right now, the minute charts.
Me neither. If ADA's under 70, if ADA's 69 cents or lower by Thanksgiving, I'm not going to Thanksgiving. I'm going to be right there with you. So
under 70 cents by
See you guys in the Discord. Links in.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.